Today I ducked up by telling my high school biology teacher that she had a nice ass. Okay, time for some background and disclosure. My biology teacher, we'll call her Kate, is hot. I don't mean this in a I want to have sass with her way, but rather a I'd like to unzip her jeans way. Yes, I got that off the internet. Either way, she has been at the school for 5 years, and in that time the school has come to an informal consensus that her ass should be the mark to which other asses are compared. For example, if me and my friends are checking some girl out, we'd say not as good as Kate's, but not bad either. This leads us to today. My biology teacher, who is awesome, had previously told us that she liked to matchmake within her classes, and I decided to take my chances in getting in a class with the hottest girl in my grade. We are juniors. As such, I walked up to my biology teacher and casually asked if next semester she could pair us together. I'm really sleep deprived from finals, so my inhibition is turned off. At this, she smiled and said, "You think she's attractive, don't you?" This is where I ducked up. I, without looking at my teacher and mistaking this casual conversation with us that I have with my friends, said, "Well, her ass isn't Kate good, but it's." At this, she raised her eyebrow and smiled a bit at my embarrassment, and then turned and walked away. I have BO tomorrow and don't know how I can face her again. TLDR, my BO teacher's ass is the informal benchmark at my school for a good ass. Accidentally let it slip in a conversation with her that I thought my classmate's ass was almost at her level. She walked away to show you the goods. I smell a porno. Today I ducked up by yelling "duck off" and "get the duck out of here" to the CEO of the company I work for. This actually happened 2 weeks ago, and before you start thinking I made this up, let me just say that I didn't just go up to the CEO and say this out of nowhere. It was completely accidental and just the worst luck imaginable. I've worked at this place for a little over 2 years. I don't want to mention the name of the company, but it is a major, probably the largest, pharmacy convenience store company in the country. They have stores everywhere. I was a cashier, and on this particular day I was working the afternoon shift. It was around 5:30 in the afternoon and pretty slow in the store. So I was in the middle of restocking the shelves. For anybody that's never worked a retail job, that's what you do when you're the cashier and there are no customers to ring up. I was stocking the shelves in the alcohol aisle when I saw a customer walk into the aisle and start browsing our alcohol selection. It's worth noting that I noticed this customer was wearing a nice suit and tie and seemed to be some sort of businessman, but didn't think anything of it at the time. As I was trained to do, I walked up to him and politely said, "Anything I can help you with today, sir?" And he responded nope, which I think was a little rude, but I didn't care. So I told him just to let me know if he needed me for anything, and just went back to stocking shelves. Now here's where it starts to get a little messed up. I noticed he was heading towards the register, so I of course started walking to the register to ring him up. He saw me walking towards the register, and when I was seriously no more than a few feet from the register, he said, "Come on, let's go. Is this how you are trained to treat your customers? Just keep them waiting all day?" Now this struck a chord with me because of how close I was to the register and because of how ducking rude of a thing it was to say. But since the customer is always right, I just said I was really sorry and didn't meant to waste any of his time and began quickly ringing up his items. But once I got to his liquor and scanned it, he said, "So you aren't going to ask for my ID? Are all the employees here this lazy, or are you the only one? Get your manager out here." Now I was mad and offended. I had no idea who this ducking guy thought he was and why he was acting like he is somehow better than me. In all honesty, after he said that, I was livid inside and remembered back to my manager telling me that if we think it is necessary we can refuse business to a customer if they are harassing us or being threatening, etc. So this is where I ducked up by saying, "You know what, man? We don't want your business. You can duck off and get the duck out of here right now." I realized a lot of things right after I said this. I realized that I was yelling, that I overreacted, that I was probably going to get fired, that my manager was watching me from the back of the store, and that the customer's shirt under his suit jacket had the company name stitched into it. The customer then identified himself as a CEO who was in town attending a conference. I live in a big city, and that I was terminated. My manager agreed. Of course she had to agree no matter what, and so I had to grab my stuff from the back and leave. My manager later got in touch with me and apologized for having to agree or she would lose her job, and also apologized for the CEO being such a huge duck. Thought I would share just how badly I ducked up. Now I've got to get back to looking for another job, haha. Today I ducked up by having sass with my professor. To be honest, tonight would have been incredibly uneventful if it weren't for things unfolding the way they did. I wish it turned out a little better, but I digress. I'm a construction worker as well as a college student. I do a lot of heavy lifting, and I don't really have much time for dating. I do not live on campus. I live in a small apartment, and the college is only a 15-minute drive away. Last week I was in a relatively minor accident, and with my luck, I hurt my back. But I was on a ladder, holding up some very light scaffolding. Next thing I knew, the ladder was falling, and so was I. Out of reflex, I turned to catch myself, but in turning so fast, I actually strained one of the major ligaments in my back and tore some muscle. Went to the ER, had some x-rays done, etc. All they said was I had a minor tear in the muscle and some strain in my ligament. I learned the hard way that we as human beings are not cats, and thus our backs do not work in such a fashion of turning in midair and catching themselves, and that I should not do anything vigorous for 4 weeks. Fast forward to tonight. My professor is young, about 6 years older than me. She graduated high school and college at a very young age, smart and absolutely adorable and sexy to boot. Well, we are both fairly stupid, since we both let sexual tension grow between us. I often wondered if other students noticed any sexual tension, but we did not flirt with each other on campus or anything like that. Though I did stay over after class to chit chat, or if she needed help with something. I even stopped by during the next semester, when we didn't even have class together anymore. We live fairly close to each other, and sometimes we run into each other at the stores, and at Starbucks and such. We both knew that dating between us is very risky, even though she is technically not my professor anymore, so dating didn't come up. Until today, that is. I finally asked her for coffee, or a day at the public library, something that was fairly benign or mundane. She suggested going to one another's house, and watching a movie would be fine with her. I said that my place was fine. I have a big TV, Netflix, and a huge collection of DVDs. We make it a date, and she shows up to my apartment at 8 o'clock at night. We watch The Dark Knight and eat pizza, and after the movie ends we talk about where we stand, or should be standing. We tried to talk each other out of doing anything too physical, and to wait the 6 months until I'm graduated. We started weighing the pros and cons of going further than just the occasional hangout. But we ended up ducking despite how we knew we shouldn't. And it was ducking fantastic. While it lasted, anyway. I'm going at her hard and heavy, she's scratching up my back, and that just fuels my fire to go even harder. I'm all caught up in the heat of everything, just slamming into her without a care in the world. And then it happens. In mid-coitus, we both hear this loud pop from my back. It sounded like a steroidal nail gun punched the wall. I was in so much pain that my ears started to ring. I immediately stopped, and she just laid there, eyes and mouth wide open as I nearly buckled on top of her. I'm just growling in absolute pain, wanting to scream and cry like a baby as the burning ache in my back that had been with me all week turned into a stabbing pain that was even worse than kidney stones. And because I lost my shut, she loses her shut too. I'm stuck on top of her, and she's hyperventilating. Are you okay? Oh my god, are you okay? What the hell was that? Name talk to me, don't freak me out. I managed to collect myself enough to say through clenched teeth, I hurt my back at work. It's just my back. It's okay. It's okay. I bet the both of us were thinking, oh man, people are going to find out. We are absolutely ducked. I can just hear the talking heads on the news. Local construction worker sass scandal with his professor. Oh boy. No, it's not okay. She lectured me on how I should have just told her before we started, and that we could have done a lot of different, but still fun things. But I didn't think of it. I didn't even feel the pain. The power of boner is strong, and overcomes everything. I just stay on top of her, careful not to press my weight on her, even though I wanted to lay flat. But at the same time, I didn't even want to move. Just trying to move my lower half hurt. Minutes passed and she said you have to go to the hospital, and I argued with her. I didn't want to go back to the hospital because it was just going to be the same thing I went through last time. Get an x-ray, be told that it's nothing major, and get sent home with muscle relaxers and pain pills. Eventually, she won the argument and reached for my landline on the nightstand. She called 911 and told them that we are going to need an ambulance. As the ambulance made their way, I was trying to get off of her. I was trying to move so we could at least put some clothes on, but my back was so tense and in so much pain that I could not move. Soon the EMTs were knocking on the door. Just come in. We are both stuck. I finally had a burst of dedication and I tried to roll off of her, groaning out pathetically as I moved to no avail. The EMTs let themselves into the apartment and into my room. Dude, I heard one of them say. I turned my head to look at them and realized that one of the EMTs was my friend who had graduated before I did. He was holding back his laughter. Dude, way to duck and go. I had no idea if he was genuinely impressed or if he was sarcastic, but I didn't care. They all helped me off of her and put me on the stretcher. They covered me up and took me to the hospital as naked as the day I was born. My friend gathered clothes for me and told me that my little secret was safe with him and he wasn't about to go tell everyone that I ducked my teacher. To sum up the hospital visit, I managed to slip a disc in my lower back since shut was so ducked up that I didn't have much support to begin with. I just made it worse by having sass. I have a feeling things are going to be incredibly awkward or something. I don't know. I'm just nervous to talk to her again because, well, this is pretty ducking embarrassing. TLDR, hurt my back at work. Was told not to do vigorous activity. Ended up having sass with my professor. Slipped a disc as a result. I have absolutely no idea how our exchanges, professional or otherwise, are going to be like. Now, update. She went to the hospital with me and helped me put on my pants once I came off of the morphine high. She also drove me home and helped me in bed. I was going to add something else to the update, but I totally forgot because my pain medication is kicking in. Update us if you get married.